Welcome to my class. Today I'm going to talk about market, demand curve, and difference between movement along the curve and shift of the demand curve. First, let's talk about the concept through an example. Okay. For example, everybody likes coffee and everybody would buy cups of coffee. So let's take Starbucks as an example. So suppose a person wants to buy a cup of coffee, and he steps in the Starbucks, and he hands in the money to Starbucks, and Starbucks hands him the coffee. Okay, so there is kind of an exchange between that person and Starbucks. He exchanged the money with the coffee, and Starbucks exchanged the coffee with the money, right? So the Starbucks is the seller, and that person is the buyer. So the buyer and seller exchange the goods with the payment. And in the market, there are not only one seller and one buyer. Of course, there are tons of more sellers and buyers. So in the market, a group of buyers and sellers exchange goods with payment. Okay, this is a market. And the basic model of economics, the demand and supply model, describes the market behaves. Okay. Now we will first look at the demand curve in this class, okay, and see how the market works. The demand curve, what is the demand? What is demand? Everybody wants something, wants to own something. You desire something, and you want to pay for it. But what the price you're going to pay for the good? How much you're going to pay for it? For example, that cup of coffee. Okay? And individual person, okay, he wants to pay $10 for only 2 cups of coffee. Okay? For example, we can write it down in the table. The left column is the price of the coffee. The right column is the quantity demanded. As we said, at the price of $10, he wants to buy 2 cups. Suppose now the price is $8. How many cups of coffee he wants to buy?
More than 2 cups?
More. Why more?
Because it's cheaper.
Why? Because it's cheaper. So you want to buy more, you can afford more. Now it's even lower price, and you can afford 6, $4, 8 cups, $2, 10 cups. Okay, so the price goes down, the quantity demanded goes up. Now we are going to plot this into a graph. The vertical axis shows the price. The horizontal axis shows the quantity. For the quantity, we have 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. We plot the points. And then we connect those points. we get a line, okay, a curve. This is called an individual demand curve. For that particular person we talked about. This is a demand schedule, which is a table. This is a demand curve, which is a graph. Okay? They both shows the same thing, that the relationship between the price and quantity demanded, and how many cups of coffee that a person wants to buy at different prices. So this is the individual demand curve. And of course, in the market, there are way more than one individual who wants to buy the cups of coffee. Suppose in the market we have 1 million people. To simplify it, we assume that all the people are the same. There are 1 million people, so now the quantity demanded for the whole market is 2 million, right? And now in the graph, we also multiply the individual demand quantity with the number of people, and then we get this graph. It shows the relationship between price and quantity demanded for the whole market, which is called market demand curve. In the market demand curve, we have the how many cups of coffee that all the consumers in the market wants to buy at different prices. So this is the demand curve. Any questions? Okay. Next, I will talk about the difference between movement along the curve and shift of the demand curve. For movement along the curve, for example, it is only related to the price, the changes of the price of that good. For example, yesterday, the price of a cup of coffee is $8. Okay, so the point is here. And today, the price of it is $4 to $6. Okay, then the person yesterday he wants to consume 4 cups, and today the price falls and he wants to consume more to 6 cups. Okay. This is the movement along the curve. The price goes down, quantity demanded goes up. And the shift of the demand curve is different. There are various factors that can influence the demand curve to shift. I will talk about several examples. First, income of the people. Okay. If the income of the people change, what is the result? Would they buy more or buy less?
How does the income change?
Okay, so suppose one people's income increases. Like for example, there's a growth in the GDP or something. Like through the time, people's income are more than like 10 years ago.
Then they will buy more coffee.
Okay, because their income goes up and they have more money in hand and they can buy more, they can afford more, so at a given price they can buy more, they want to buy more. So this point moves to the right. Okay? Every point moves to the right. At one given price, they can buy more. When we connect these points, we get a new demand curve, which result from the original demand curve shifted to the right. At different prices, the consumers are all willing to consume more, so there is a shift of the demand curve. And the second example, taste. For example, like new research just come out saying that the coffee is not good for health. So maybe a lot of people want to drink less in order to keep healthy. So at a given price, they want to consume less. Okay, they wouldn't buy the same amount as they bought before. Okay? So the point moves to the left. All the points move to the left at different prices. When we connect these points, another different new demand curve, which is D2. Okay? Because people want to consume less at different prices, all the points shift to the left, so the demand curve shifts to the left. The third factor is price of related goods. For example, tea. Some people may be indifferent between coffee and tea. For example, at the same price, they can either drink tea or drink coffee. There's no difference. But suddenly, at one day, the price of tea goes up. For example, $6, it rises to $8. So what will people buy? Are they still indifferent between coffee and tea, or are they going to buy like coffee because it's cheaper, right? Now coffee is cheaper than tea, so people are willing to buy coffee more. Okay. So the price of the tea goes up, people are willing to buy more coffee, the demand curve shifts to the left. Next is the expectations. If people expect that in the next month the price of the coffee is going up, they are willing to buy more coffee today. The demand curve will shift to the right. Okay? More coffee, okay, right. The fifth one, number of buyers. If some people change their now we have, for example, we have 1 million buyers in the market. Like in 10 years, the number of coffee drinkers increases to 2 million. Then the whole quantity demanded goes up. Okay? The whole demand goes up. The demand curve shifts to the left. Okay? And I will re-emphasize the difference between movement along the curve and shifts of the demand curve. Okay? Movement along the curve, the only factor that causes the movement along the curve is the price. Okay? The change of the price of that good. Any other factors, including those 5, will cause shift of the demand curve. Okay? So this is what I talked about in this class. Thank you.